Okay, it's week 5 of the Big Ten for us, so we're in the grind. What do you guys got?
Are you allowed to talk about Wisconsin before Wednesday night after
No.
the match?
No. Nope. We're focused on Northwestern right now, so they're good, and we went 5 there last year, so they definitely have our attention. They probably have a player right now. We've had voted Big Ten Player of the Year. She'd probably get it. Their outside hitter. So we got our hands full right now, without worrying about what's happening this weekend.
How do you make sure that the focus is on Wednesday and aren't looking ahead?
Just what I talked to our team yesterday about Northwestern, and this is it's a tough place to play. They're done very well. I think the 2 surprise teams right now are Northwestern and Indiana in the Big Ten. And because Northwestern took they're one of their best players at Wisconsin now, and their other best players at UCLA. So I mean, he's done a great job of reloading that team. So that's our focus. We can't. We're not getting caught up in anything else. I mean, that's how we roll.
So far, those midweek road matches.
It's no different for us. We're used to play. I think we played almost on every night of the week now, except for Monday. So for us, it's no big deal. The problem is how do you train hard all week, but you got a match on a Wednesday and a match on Saturday. So you got to have recovery in there. You've got to try to train hard. You can't overtrain them. So that's the balance. When you play Friday, Saturday, you have a couple days in the beginning of the week that you can go hard, just like football does. They go hard, today and tomorrow, and then they start backing off. We kind of do the same thing. But when you play Wednesday, Saturday, it's different game.
Do you prefer Wednesday, Saturday, or 2 matches on the weekend?
I like Wednesday, Saturday because for the reason that you can really prepare for each team you're playing. For training purposes, I like playing Friday, Saturday. But, it's tough when you're on the road playing back-to-back on the road on a Friday, Saturday. That's where it gets really tough.
Hey, John, with as much youth as you have in your lineup, what have you seen as the biggest challenges to adjusting to the grind of the Big Ten versus what you face, challenging teams but a different kind of pace in the non-conference?
Well, I think the non-conference is kind of like the honeymoon phase. It's fun, it's exciting. You're playing all these different teams. Now that's why I said in the very beginning, we're in the grind. So it's week 5, and it's every match is a really tough match. There's rivalries, there's emotions, there's players that have been playing against each other. So there's just a lot of more dynamics in the Big Ten, and as you can see, there's a lot of upsets. I don't know if they're upsets, but there's just on any given night anybody can win, and so you've got to have the mindset of playing well. And and I don't, I challenged our team yesterday. We've got to go on the road and try to play a really solid match. We haven't really done that yet. We've played some really good volleyball and we got some wins, but I don't think we've played a really solid match. We've been high air in some places. We've had games we got blown out, so it's. That's our challenge, is can we go have a really solid effort on the road. So that's their challenge for this Wednesday.
How much value is there in winning when you don't play well, like you've seen sometimes?
Well, you have to win ugly because you're not going to play great every night. But, when we're at home and the crowd's into it, it's a little easier. We've got to find a way on the road to keep our focus and our consistency and play a good, solid match, for 2.5, 3 hours, whatever it takes.
How do you work with the freshmen? I mean, other teams are getting tape on them. They know kind of what the tendencies are. How do you work with the freshmen to stay sharp and kind of evolve their games at this point of the year?
Just like we do with everybody else. I mean, it's just we have our plan or how we train and trying to get better every week. That's the real big challenge, and I think the older players understand that better than the younger players. The newer players are gonna, I think they kind of take deep breath. We just won a match, so take a deep breath. Where 4 days later we're going against another team. So that's the challenge for those guys, understanding. Every night in every match is a really big match, and you've got to be ready to perform. So it's a mindset.
John, this focus on Northwestern before what happens this week, and it starts with you and your staff. How do you handle that, knowing that there's additional media interest in the game, ticket sales? You know, I'm sure you've heard about that. How do you keep yourself insulated so your message gets trickled down to your players?
Just watch video from last year against Northwestern. They should have beaten Minnesota at Minnesota, and so that's where our focus is. We have no problem staying focused on Wednesday.
I'm sure your players are insulated a little bit from it, but I'm guessing you hear this week from a lot of people about this weekend's match. What do you hear from them, whether it's fans or other coaches, and what's your response to them about their enthusiasm and interest?
Well, it's great for volleyball. But we're used to playing these matches, so if this is where you want to be. You want to be playing these type of matches. So for us, it's business as usual. So I don't really feel like it's any different, and so it's like I said, it's business as usual.
You're a football guy, and so Ohio State has Michigan, and Oklahoma used to have Nebraska, Oklahoma. And even though you play a game right before you would play the big game, that other game's always looming in the background. Like, what lesson can we learn from this game that translates to the big one? Does Wisconsin have that kind of presence in your program? Like, do you think about what about this match is going to translate to that one?
No. I'm just thinking how we're going to get better today. So how can I design a practice, challenge these guys? What do we need to work on? That's our focus, is getting better.
Are there things that you can extrapolate from every match that translate to that, given where they are and the kind of program they are?
Well, we talk about, we have what we call national championship drills that we do in practice. This is what we're going to have to do. We're going to have to perform at this level to win a national championship. Well, we're playing teams that you have to go through to get there. So that's how we don't phrase it on this or that. We call them national championship drills.
What does that look like?
Well, you have to come to practice, and there's certain drills that we do, and that's what we tell them. And you got to win this drill. That's the level we have to be at.
Northwestern is 9-9, but you were just saying, like, they've done a great job of rebuilding, and there's things about this team that it feels like if they had just gone a little bit differently, their record would be very different. They took Minnesota to 5 sets. They beat Purdue earlier this month. I know you mentioned a key player, but what specifically as a whole of this Northwestern team do you need to be aware of getting ready for this midweek matchup with them?
Well, he's a really good coach. They have a really good system they run. You can tell they're very well trained, and that's what's a sign of a good program, when you can just get some new players in there, and then they're going like this, this season. So may have been a little rough starting out, but they got it going. They got a great setter. So he's a good coach. I mean, he's won 2 national championships coaching men at Loyola. Who's done that? So much respect for them, and they're a very good team, and they've got a player that teams have had a really hard time stopping.
Hey, John, I know you've talked after each one of your road matches in the Big Ten about the environments that you've played in, and you've gone into a lot of gyms that have set records for attendance and been intimidating. But overall, what can you say about the volleyball environment that you guys are seeing outside of the Devaney Center as you go through the league this year?
Yeah, it's been mind-blowing, because I attribute it to the stadium match here. I just think there's just been an interest, one in Nebraska. We did this thing. There's a lot of popularity. I think people want to come and see us. 2, I think they're having big crowds everywhere, and I think it's just created this interest. I just read the WNBA had their record crowd last night. So women's sports is on fire right now, and I think the stadium match had a lot to do with it. And then now you're seeing that spill over to a lot of volleyball matches, and that's why everybody's breaking records. I mean, whoever, if I'd have told you we're going to play in front of 9,000 at Michigan, are you kidding me? I mean, they usually play in this natatorium. It's an old swimming pool that they converted. It's an old cracker box gym that, sometimes they'd fill it, most of the time they wouldn't. And here they are playing in front of 9,000. So that was pretty impressive. Same with Michigan State. Michigan State tended to draw better, but Ohio State's been sold out. Indiana's sold out now several times. So volleyball's on fire right now. And I think a lot of it's from the exposure from the stadium match. And then, of course, Iowa women's basketball just, I don't know if they sold out that stadium or 55,000. Yeah, I mean, who would ever thought that? So it's women's sports is really on the upswing right now.
John, in addition to Bergen's setting, I believe she's at like 2.5 digs per set. How have you seen her game develop, and did she maybe not get the credit that she maybe deserves defensively for what she's bringing to your team?
It's a great call. She's done a really good job developing her block and her defense, and all you have to do is look at all the number of sets that Lexi has every match. Well, those are coming off. Most of them are coming off Bergen's digs, so she's doing a really good job. Usually with setters, I always get frustrated because they don't play defense. But Nicklin was probably the greatest defensive setter we've ever had, and I think Bergen has taken a lot of pride in that. So she's doing a nice job.
Final questions? All right, thank you.
Okay.